Hey, we're live. Oh my goodness, we're so excited to be here tonight. We're welcoming a real guest, Matty Tarot. Hi, Matty. Thank you for
Hello.
coming.
Of course. Thanks for having me.
Oh, we can't wait to know a little bit about you, which I think Janine's going to ask you a little bit about what you do. And then I know that we have some maybe shocking ghost stories from you tonight. We're excited. So, anyway, I'm just going to bring it over to Janine right now. Hi, Janine.
Hi. So we want to welcome everybody to SD Spooky Adventures, Ghostly Tales with Debbie and Janine. And we do have our special guest, Matty Tarot, with us today. Matty, say hello to everyone and give them a little bit about yourself.
Hello. I'm Matty Tarot. I live in San Diego, of course. And yeah, I do tarot readings, and I'm really into psychology and the way the brain works and how people process things and the metaphysical and all that. And I just met Debbie recently, not too long ago. She's wonderful, and I'm really excited to be here.
We are so excited to have you today. I hear you have some real shocking ghost stories for us, and we're so excited to hear those.
I consider them shocking. So yes.
Well, Maddie, can we get a little bit about uh, psychic ability and maybe did you grow up with being psychic and all of that?
So the word psychic was always kind of weird to me, and I didn't really. I wouldn't say I grew up knowing, but I would always have. It would kind of be a joke almost. I would always, if something would turn out the way that I said it was going to, or I'd like ahead of time be like, "Oh, here's what's going to happen," and then just say it, and then it would turn out that way. I would like laugh it off and say, "Well, it's because I'm psychic," and then I'd say, "I'm just kidding." But then one day I realized like, I'm not kidding, and I should probably stop saying I'm just kidding. And so I started to just affirm it, and ever since I did that, I mean, my eyes have opened more. My third eye has opened more, if you will. But more messages started coming through intuitively, and I've had deeper experiences, I would say, since then.
Oh my goodness.
So I definitely
Well,
believe it now, obviously. But
yeah, I can relate to that because I always knew what was going to happen and people, wow, and we didn't really talk about psychic stuff. So I get it. And you happen to have a YouTube channel that we need people to subscribe to.
yes.
And so what do you do? Do you do tarot and what else can you have as services?
So I do tarot readings. I especially like in love, so romance readings and relationship readings. I also do energy cleansing. So if the black magic has been done on you or any sort of like voodoo type thing. I also do chakra balancing. So I come up with a comprehensive plan. We kind of do a reading on your chakras, see which ones are flowing, which ones aren't. And I personally create a plan for you to take home and do. So you will see, real action. I'm sorry, real results from your actions and all that. So I come up with that plan for you to get your chakras rebalanced. And I also do dream interpretation and birth chart readings. So
Oh
like
my goodness.
zodiac readings.
Well, very talented. You have all those wonderful things that you can do. So, you guys, down below, please share the show. Down below, I do have Matty Tarot's YouTube channel. So please go there and do us subscribe. So we want to build that up for him. I do know that you're psychic because I talked to you. Oh my gosh. And I said, okay, we really do have a genuine person that can do all this wonderful stuff. And we
Thanks.
wanted to kind of introduce you because I am planning that you're going to be on some shows with me. We're actually be doing some readings.
Yes, I'm very excited about that.
And so one of the things I kind of put out there, you guys, is for you guys to get questions ready in your mind. We're going to put out that we're going to do readings, and we're going to have a show of readings for an hour. And Maddie, you said you know how to use pendulum, and I know it's not my thing. Thank goodness it's yours. So you could do some yes, no questions, and I'll do some tarot, and we'll do whatever oracle cards for everybody, and we'll let you we'll let you know that. So I'm really excited, but he's the real deal, you guys. A good psychic, and we're just so pleased that you're here. And as Janine was saying, you've got some kind of shocking ghost story to tell us, or whatever. But I would love to get you started on that right now. And we have a good crowd coming in, so this is a good time.
Okay. All right. Lovely. So I have the floor or what?
Yes,
You
sir.
have it. It's
Yeah, all
yours.
right. Well, I'm going to start with my Colorado experience, actually. It's the experience of mine that really made me believe in the paranormal. Because before that, I really, I mean, I didn't pay much mind to it, and I would somewhat even make fun of it, kind of jokingly, never like, ridiculing anyone, but jokingly, and kind of be like, yeah, that's a bunch of bull crap, But yeah, something. So it's so odd. Me and my friends, we went to Colorado. Her family had a vacation home there on a bunch of land, and the whole way there, I'm with a really close friend of mine. The others I knew pretty well, but two of the girls who I wasn't as close with, the whole time on the way there, they were just talking about a bunch of this metaphysical stuff, like paranormal and stuff, and they were like, I don't know, they seem to have been talking about this house, and Millie, my friend Millie, she's saying, oh, this house is like nobody goes there. My family doesn't go there. It's empty most of the time. It's huge. And so we're all excited. We get there, and the first thing these two girls are saying are, oh wow, I feel like we're not alone here. I feel like I feel a presence here. And again, I'm just kind of not even paying attention to this. I'm just like, that's them. They, to me at that time, those girls were just the hippie girls with the crystals, and
Yeah.
I was like, that's just them. It's cool, whatever. But so as the night goes on, the very first night there, we're drinking, and I know you could say, oh, this is why that happened to you. You were drinking, but no, it was more than that. I mean, I've never had anything like this happen while I've been drinking, and I've you know drank quite a bit sometimes. But the first thing was the girls talking about that, right? And then throughout the night, I had to use the bathroom. We were all in the kitchen, so I went to the bathroom, which was around the corner, through the other room, and down the hall. I'm going down the hall, and there's this inset. It's not like a standalone shelving unit. It's like in the wall, but in it is a box and a few other things. But it's a Ouija board, and it's one of like the old ones, like the wooden board. It's not like the Parker's Brother plastic Ouija board. It was like a old very old Ouija board, it seemed. Um, and I was kind of intrigued by that, so I picked it up on my way back from the bathroom, and I came out, and because they were talking about, okay, that's the part. They were talking about this ghost that was there in the house or something, and they were describing this man. Those two girls, they were like, he's short, and he's got this like bolo Charlie Chaplin hat on or something, and they're like talking about this guy, right? But as a joke and poking at them, I grabbed the Ouija board on the way back from the bathroom, and I came into the kitchen holding it over my head, and I was like, you guys want to talk to the ghost and everything? And I thought it was like kind of funny, but they didn't think it was so funny. They were like, no. Like, and I was like, okay, whatever. Like, you guys, yeah. They were just like, no, that's not funny. I was like, oh, okay, well, anyway. But as I'm going back into the other room to put the Ouija board back, you know how when you're in a house at night, and the lights are on, the any like window or glass door is kind of like a mirror. Like you
Yeah.
can't see out of it, but you can see everything
Oh,
reflected,
yeah.
right?
Hmm.
And so from the other room that I had to go into to put the board away, the whole back of that room is a sliding glass door, and then two floor to ceiling windows on each side. And so you can see down the whole main hallway of the house that goes out to the foyer, um, and the entrance of the home. You can see that behind you as you're walking into this room. Well, as I'm walking into this room to go put the Ouija board back, there is a man in a trench coat who's short with a weird little hat on, standing at the front door in the foyer. And it freaked me out. It really freaked me out. I turned around really quickly and looked, and obviously like nothing was there. And then I looked back and I didn't see it in the reflection anymore, but it kind of startled me. And I wrote it off as me drinking at the time. I was just like, okay, I've been drinking. Like, it's like, and they got in my head or something, they got in my head. Yeah. And then I put the Ouija board back. So the night progresses and they decide that they do want to play the Ouija board. So, yeah, famous last words, right?
Yes.
So we get, into getting the Ouija board out and decide to, mess around with it. We lit candles and sat in a circle and started to just play around and ask questions. So I remember a few of the questions. One of them was like, who are you, or why are you here? And nothing was really happening. But then there was, what happened? Okay, so at first, a picture fell off the wall in the hallway, and it had a glass cover over the frame, and that shattered. So that had to be cleaned up. That wasn't too, it was like, okay, that could be a coincidence. I don't know. We were kind of just going with it and continuing. And then the one that kind of freaked me out was the girl asked, are you wanting to harm us? And as she's asking that, a moth dive bombs into one of the candle flames and literally wings burn and it dies like in the wax and the candle goes out. And it like happened like right. I was like, what the heck? Like,
Right. I mean, what are the odds? Right. Kamikaze moth comes in. Oh my gosh.
Right. I was like, okay. And then I that's when I said, I was like, I'm kind of uncomfortable. I don't know. And then they were like, oh, well, we can't stop now. And so, okay, we keep going. And then what happened was just really scary. We had all our hands on it. You have to put your hands on the thing. And these people I know weren't messing around because they're very serious about this, like just by nature of how they were talking the whole time. So I know they weren't like messing around with it at all. And also you couldn't do this anyway, but what happened next, nobody could have faked it. We all had our hands on it and we're asking, I forget the question, but the thing literally flies out from under our fingers and goes across the entire room. And the candles like went out. And I remember I said, F this. I stood so scared. I stood up. I said, nope. It was like, I don't know. It was like middle of the night, but very cold in Colorado. I walked out of that house and I did not come back in until the sun came back up. I stood out there with my friend and I was just like, I'm not going back in there. I'm not sleeping tonight. I'm not. Like, so yeah, I definitely was a believer after that.
That was freaking amazing. Well, we know, Janine and I have, experienced everything, things flying, everything you could think of. She's got some crazy stories that are just as good as the moth doing that thing.
Yeah.
But the flying thing is amazing. And that's when it's like, finally, like, here you go. Yeah. It doesn't sound like the guy was like, really excited that you guys were there at all. So I think it's really great. Janine, what do you think about all those things that
I'll tell you, like that gives me such pause because there is a demon attached to certain Ouija boards and can come into the Ouija board. Not going to say his name. I'm sure most of you know. But in order to make sure that he doesn't enter your space, you have to say goodbye before the planchet leaves the board. And so they didn't get a chance to do that. That's kind of what happened when we were at the Cecil and we were connected to Richard Ramirez. that thing would not stay on the board. And we
Scary.
weren't able to say goodbye. So all of us had to do lots of extra protection, make sure Richard Ramirez's spirit did not come home with us that day.
Oh my God.
Oh
Yeah.
my
Scary.
gosh.
I mean, I will never touch a Ouija board again.
Yeah.
But
I don't do it either.
kind of being like, oh, that's hogwash, whatever, like not no funny, whatever, to saying at the end of the trip, no, Ouija boards are very real. Don't play with them. They're not fun. And I'm a believer and I'm never touching it again. I won't touch it.
Yeah, I don't. My family does. My family does, and so that's on them. But I really feel like that everything from all our divination tools are all a way of opening up stuff and letting things in and communicating.
I mean,
And so, yeah,
I mean, and you're taking the proper measures and protections. There's nothing wrong with that, obviously, but I don't know all that.
we're
So
gonna do it. Yeah,
yeah.
I'm still. Hey, that's my thing. Protection is my thing. Closing portals is my thing, and I'm not gonna touch it.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I always say,
No.
even like with automatic writing tools and your pendulums and your divining rods, like opening and closing and putting protections and boundaries in place, no matter which one you're using, is just as important as when you're using a Ouija board, because they all do the same thing in essence.
Yeah.
Oh, we have some comments, and Kim says, I will never touch one myself. Connie McDonald, that's scary stuff. She says to you, Maddie.
Was very,
Oh, gosh.
and
Go ahead.
I have an even scarier one, actually. My
Yes, you
Yeah.
were excited about that. And you know why? Because I know Janine and I are to the point that we've seen just about everything and the darkest of dark things and stuff like that. But still, we would run towards it. Unless once in a while we say, let's go. We always say, Janine, right? If you or I say get out of there, you better go. Because we're not ones to run away.
If we're running, you better run faster.
Yeah, that's right. And we've seen some really dark stuff, some really dark stuff that's really strong. But you have to be sensible about this stuff. And you don't want to invite anything to come along with you because as Janine's sister found out, it can stay with you for a long time.
Yeah.
So so anyway, we're all excited. I was really, you know what, I think it's exciting. I think I would have stayed with Janine. I'm sure we would have just stayed in there. But we've been through it so many times, and it's unsettling when you are in touch, in communication with the other side that's physical. And I love that the painting fell off. Janine, we've all had the picture fall off, haven't we? And break,
Oh, we have.
My
Especially it's
girlfriend.
scary when it's the person you're talking about at the time too that comes flying off the wall.
Yes. And my girlfriend had her cabinets fly open and the glasses fly through the air and crash against the window and break in pieces. So she had bad stuff in her house. Mine is more playful, like, taking that cracker box and going, hello, hello, hello. And I'm like, well, hi, So I love that communication. So we're ready. Everybody's saying, Carlos is talking about doors opening and closing. Hi, Marky, how are you? Oh, look at this. Kim says, Maddie seems like a really cool guy. I would hang out with him.
Oh, yeah.
Well, I'm going to tell everybody he has a YouTube channel. It's down below. Please subscribe so we can get his viewership up on YouTube at Matty Tarot. It's right there. And he has services too if you need anywhere from chakras being cleared to readings. Okay. Now, again, if you guys missed it, Maddie and I will be doing an hour show and we'll be doing readings. So we'll let you know about that. We'll put it on Psychic Fixes and let you guys know when that's going to be. So you guys, I'm ready. Are we ready for another story? I am.
Yes, we are on the edge of our seats.
Yeah, I am literally.
It's still a little like it gives me goosebumps to even tell it. So because it was just very jarring. So okay, when was this? This was it was 2020 2021, in February of 2021. I had been down in San Diego. This is when I was living in LA. So I currently at that time lived in LA. But I had been in San Diego visiting my family. And I had just gotten back to LA. I hadn't been home for like, I don't know, a month or more, a little over a month. And at the time I was going through a really bad breakup, I had just gone through a really bad breakup. The person was not leaving my apartment and all this. That's kind of why I was down in San Diego for so long, because I was like, I don't want to be around that person. And while they left and were getting out, I just wanted to not be there. So, I come back and yeah, so the the kitchen light was flickering upon my return. And it would do it every night. It would just kind of like every once in a while flicker on and off. And at first I didn't really think anything. I thought, okay, the light bulb is going out or something. But I changed the light bulb and it continued to flicker. And then I thought, okay, well, maybe the wiring is like a little loose or messed up. And my dad used to be a handyman. So like I am used to just like knowing all that stuff. And so I, did what I needed to do, checked to the wiring. It was fine. There's nothing wrong with that. So I just couldn't figure out why this light bulb kept flickering. And it was just so weird. And it was just annoying. It's like not a huge nuisance, but it was just one of those things. It's like, why is my light flickering? But anyway, this is about a week after I got back of dealing with that. And I'm just on the phone with my friend. I'm cooking dinner. It's like Saturday night. And I'm just telling her about the light bulb. I'm telling her literally everything I just told you just now. And that's what I'm kind of telling her. I'm like, I've tried this. I've tried this. I've tried this. I can't figure out why this light's flickering. But as I'm telling her, I'm in the kitchen and the light starts to flicker faster as I'm telling her about it. And so at first it's like I was facing down. So I had my headphones in, my phone was on the counter. I was kind of on a random page on Instagram or something, but I'm talking to her and I'm kind of leaning on the counter. And so like, the light around me and everything is just like going on and off, on and off, on and off. And so I like stand up and I like look up at the light and I'm like, and I start to tell her, I'm like, and now that I'm talking about it, it's going faster. And as I'm saying this, it's going faster and faster and faster and faster. And it becomes so fast that it's like like it made the hair stand up on my body. And I was like, I'm getting out of this room. And so I left the kitchen and I went into my room and I closed the door and I started to tell her, I was like, Lauren, I'm freaked out right now. That was really weird. I was like, wow, it started just like, it's like a strobe light in there. Like what? I don't like that. What do I do? And then, cause she's kind of into all that stuff. The healing, the cleansing and all that. So she, and this is when I was kind of new to it. Like I said, I haven't, this is kind of recent for me. So back in 2021, I still kind of was getting my bearings, but she told me, okay, well, you need to, cleanse the space and like open the windows up and start to call in the light of, she said, the light of the Lord, and, ask it to leave and just open up all the windows. Right. And I was like, I don't want to go back out there. And so we're just talking. And then I hear, it was so weird. It was like a growl from my kitchen. So like from across the way. And I could tell it was coming from my kitchen. And I lived in that house for 3 years. I know what the pipes at night sound like. I know what the neighbors moving around sounds like. I know what the sound, that when it's creaking, what it sounds like. Like I know all the sounds. I had never heard that sound before. And it was like a low guttural growl coming from my kitchen. And I remember I had my headphones in. And so I took one out and she was talking and I felt rude after I did it, but I kind of was like, stop talking. And then, because I was like, what the heck was that? And then I was like, I'm sorry, I don't like mean to be rude, but there's something growling in my house. Like, and then I heard it again. And it was just, so at this time, like my anxiety is building and I'm like, I feel really unsafe. Like, this is weird. And then Sorry, I'm getting like shaken up.
No, yeah.
And then, so my hallway, the floor creaks it would creak in two spots, right when you enter it, and then right near the bathroom, which is right before my bedroom door. And because I wood floors. So the first creak happens and it sounds like somebody is walking into the hallway. And at this point, I was at my desk. I stood up and I'm in the middle of my room. And she had told me to open the window. So I went and opened my bedroom window. That's all I could, but I wasn't going to go back into the rest of the house yet. But I'm standing in the middle of the room, staring at the door on the phone with her, like telling her I'm scared. And I hear the hallway creak. And then I hear the second creak, like by the bathroom door. And I just, at this point, my stomach, it feels like it's on the floor.
Right.
And I'm really quietly telling her, Lauren, I think there's something right outside my door. And as I'm saying that, my door goes and
Oh,
eyes open. I screamed at the top of my lungs. I've never screamed that loud before. I freaked out. I had this like clothing rack, a standalone clothing rack. I literally ran. I didn't even know what I was doing, but I ran toward it and grabbed it and like pulled it down. And I was in the corner and had that over me. And I started crying. It was so crazy. And then
mhm.
my friend, she doesn't know what's happening. She just hears me in the middle of my sentence start screaming. And so she's on the other end, like, what's going on? What's going on? And I'm like frantically kind of telling her, like, something's in my house. It just like is trying to attack me. And she's yelling at me, you need to get up and open the windows and get out of the house right now. And she's like saying this over and over and over again. And I'm telling her I can't do it. I can't. And she's like literally screaming at me, do it, and like go now. And so I just stood up and like with my eyes partially like closed, ran out of my room, opened the living room window, and then ran out of the front door of the house. And I had no shoes on. It was like again, it was like the middle of the night. It was like 2 something or 3 something. I don't even know. My neighbors probably thought like, who is this crazy person? Like, because I'm screaming at the top of my lungs, running outside. But like, I wasn't screaming while running outside, but like, I had just screamed and then like a bunch of commotion. And then I ran outside and it was just crazy. And then, yeah, I mean, once I calmed down outside, I went back in and, yeah, the part I forgot to mention in the beginning was that during that week, I'm sorry, that morning, actually, the morning that this happened, there was a mirror that had fallen off the wall and broke in near the kitchen. And I have always been told, if a mirror breaks, clean it up, get rid of it right away. Like, don't leave that in your house. That's it creates a portal or a doorway. And that is just a bad omen. Just like get rid of it. But so I had told myself all day long, like, oh, I gotta get rid of that mirror. I gotta take that mirror down. But I kept not doing it. Because I clocked in for work. I used to work from home at that time, so I clocked in for work, and then after work I was cleaning, and then I started making dinner, and then I just never took. But the moment I came back up in my apartment after I calmed down, that's the first thing I saw. I saw that mirror, and I was like, that needs to go right now. And I took it down and yeah. And then I had my friend come over. We heavily cleansed the place. Like, yeah, it never flickered. The light never flickered again after that.
Oh my gosh. Um,
Very scary.
well, you know what? I kind of grew up with the flickering of the lights. Janine, you probably had it too, to the point where when I would walk, not just the house, I would walk in the supermarket and I would walk down the aisle and the banks of lights would flicker as I walked. And I'd look and everything's okay on those aisles and those, turn around to the next aisle and they would flicker wherever I was.
Right.
So not unusual, except for I think mine was more energy and yours was more dynamic. So, Janine, what do you think was in that house?
You know, it doesn't sound like something good. I'm feeling like something was trapped inside that mirror, and so when
Yep.
it fell, it was released, and the energy that was left over from your, breakup
Mm-hmm.
just fed it. And
You're right on the money, because another part I didn't really tell, I'll tell it, but like, so my ex at that time, they had called me while I was in San Diego, and I mean, I thought they were, I thought they were having a psychotic episode. I didn't really know what was going on, but I remember telling them on the phone kind of rudely. I was like, "You need serious help," and because they called me and they were saying things like, "You set me up. I know what you did." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" And they're like,
Oh
"The
my
the
gosh.
house is bugged." And then they said, "They come at night. I know what you did." And so I'm like, "What the heck are you talking about?" And so what I've made of it, we don't talk, but what I've made of it is that he thought that there was a physical people coming and messing with him. But really, what was happening, I think, was he was experiencing the entity being there, and like, I don't even, because he used to like look in that mirror a lot, like that mirror. I don't know, it was weird,
it was
but
attached to him.
it was attached to
It was
him.
attached to him.
Once he left, it went to the mirror, and then I think it was released from the mirror and it went to the light. That's exactly what I thought, and you saying that right now, just yes, that's exactly
Feels
what I.
good. Your body will communicate what you know is to be the truth.
Yeah, I'll tell
And
you, flickering lights and such. I cleared a friend's house of all like the negative energy and stuff because her and her husband were just at each other's throats. And as I was leaving that night, my sister was coming to pick me up. And so instead of having her try to go this difficult way to find the apartment, I said, I'll walk up to the Union Bank that's on the corner. And so as I'm walking up, every single street light shuts off as I stand under it.
Hmm.
And as soon as I move away from it, the light turns back on. And so I'm starting to walk a little faster. And it turns out my sister got there early, so she was parked across the street. When the second light turned off, as soon as I stepped under it, I started to actually kind of run. And so she came, turned her car on, lights flipped on. She came flying towards me, and all I could think of was Christine, honestly. And I'm like walking faster, running faster. And she pulls up. She's like, "Are you okay? What was up with those street lights?" I'm like, you know what? Let me sage myself real quick, and then we're going to get out of here because whatever I cleared was trying to come home with me that night.
Oh
oh
God.
my gosh.
Scary
Well,
stuff.
I think when your friend said to open the window, the first thing I thought of is one of the things you can do when you're trying to get something out of there is to give them an exit point. Even
Yeah.
though we think that they could go through something, this is symbolic. Here's the window, you can go. I think that you're really lucky. And I think it influenced, everything that happened in that house or anybody that came in.
Hmm.
So very, very lucky that, you had somebody come in and help you, get that out. But how, when you first get into this stuff and this happens, it's crazy. And you just, it's scary as anything. And so you're seasoned now. You had these experiences.
After the
But
whole thing, I remember I called my mom. It was like 4 a.m. after I finally calmed down and it was not happening anymore. But I called her at 4 a.m, and the first thing I said to her was, "I'm about to tell you something, and I need you to believe me and not think I'm crazy." And then she was like, "Okay." And then I told her, she was very receptive about, with it. But I was like, "I swear I'm not seeing things, or I'm not like on drugs. Like, I'm not crazy. Like, this really happened just now."
Well, this is the one thing is the hard thing when you Janine was very young, a toddler, I think, when you started seeing ghosts and things, and for
18 months.
people 18 months old,
Wow.
and to get people to believe you, is really hard. And like you said, when I get into a lot of things, when I first went to a psychic development class, I thought I expected hippies. Like this is woo woo. But I'm going. And what I was setting among people, professors and professionals from UCSD University. And I was like, what the heck are you guys doing here? You know, and they're taking it more seriously now. But, at the beginning, I'm like, I don't know. I don't know if I believe this or that or the other. And then we experience it. But we're lucky because some of the things that we walked into are, before we knew what was going on, are very scary, the ghosts, the spirits, and especially if they're not nice.
Yeah.
And
Yeah, I think I'm
so,
very lucky to have been so young because everything was so normal that not much has actually really scared me along the way. But I will say I'm so grateful to hear that your mom was open to everything.
yeah.
Yeah.
My mom never pointed me one direction or the other. So she never acted shocked. She never acted like, yes, that's normal or that's not normal. Like there was nothing. She was just, oh, okay. It was my mid-20s before she said, look, your grandmother has this gift. I have it a little bit. You've had it your entire life. It's very strong with you. She's like, I didn't want to encourage you one way or the other. So we just didn't say anything.
My
Oh
mom
my goodness.
confirmed the same thing when I started using the pendulum. The crystal spire that I got and I made the pendulum myself out of a crystal spire that's from a chandelier that my grandmother used to own. And
Oh,
it when I first did it, I went to my mom and I was like, okay, this thing actually works. And then I said, ask me questions that I don't know the answer to. And she did, and it got all of them right. And she was just like, whoa. And then she was like, yeah, it runs in the family. And she just nonchalantly, casually, yeah, it's on our side of the family.
great.
Like, it seems like, I guess you have it too. And I was just like, you're the same lady that like told me the tarot was devil work. And like, what are you talking about right now? And then I don't know, it's kind of like she shifted away from that. But
Oh, yeah.
yeah, she apparently
It's a
does.
little bit, I want to say, was she my sister? Because my sister would quote the Bible at anything I was at, and people naturally find out they want a reading and all that. And so it was Christmas. and, and people are asking me and doing this, and then she comes in, and the first thing is the Bible. And then you know what? She gave me this lovingly thing. She says, that being said, I want to tell you that she's always right. I'm like, okay.
That's nice.
Okay. All right. But yeah, and this is one of the things that I hope by doing, having like testimonies, Maddie, that you're like telling these real stories that happened and letting people know there are really ghosts. There really is this metaphysical thing and paranormal thing going on.
Yeah.
And we're going to tell you the validation. We need to get this better reputation going, and we are. We certainly are. There's more people that are interested. And I know that you, Maddie, and Janine and I, we work towards helping people, be it, cleansing, opening up the chakras, all those things that we need to do to going in and banishing these dark things that are in the home. And Maddie, so my take on it is that there's like different stages of what's in the home. And what I call scrabblies is the energy that kind of hangs in the home that can make people depressed. So how many times have you guys heard of someone, especially vulnerable, being a teenager or something like that, moving to a new house, and all of a sudden they're not happy, they're wearing black, they're depressed, they don't want to go to school? Well, let's look at the house.
Yeah.
So the houses can keep all that stuff in there. And I'm so glad that you got that all cleared out. And I'm really happy that we did. It was one of those crazy things where we got connected together. I can't wait to do readings with you. I cannot wait, you guys. We will let you know, and we're going to do readings for you guys. And we're going to help, but anything that you want to ask, we're going to give our 2 cents there from the other side. And Janine, I see it's after the hour. I didn't know if you want to continue or what your plan was.
Well, I definitely would love to hear if you have any more stories that you want to share with us. We do have a little bit more time if you'd like.
I have one with my father's story, actually. So he told me one that was pretty scary, but it was when he was a kid. Should I just go? Should I just start?
Sure.
Yeah, go
It's
right on.
yours. Thank you.
He told me that his parents were out of town. He lived in Indiana, and he said that one night he started. It was just he was getting ready for bed. It was like a normal night, but he started to hear, like, he describes it as what you would hear in the movies, is what he says, when you start to hear the like, right. And so I was like, that's really freaky. And my dad is like super diehard religious, like God-fearing man. Like, if he's saying this happened to him, like, I believe him, because he doesn't believe in any of that stuff. He's like, you talk about that stuff, he's like, nope, God. Like that's who he is. But he definitely said that this happened, and so he started to hear that, and he said it really scared him. And his mom had told him, if you're ever afraid in that way, to recite the Lord's Prayer. So that's exactly what he began to do. Well, I'm sorry, he didn't start doing it right away. What happened was he was hearing it, and then he said he felt a presence in his room, like something was around, and then the end of his bed sunk in, like something sat down on his bed. And he said it was sitting at the foot of my bed. It sunk in, and his like feet went down with it, and so he said he's like sat up and pulled his feet back and was like super scared, and he started reciting the Lord's Prayer. And as he was doing that, the bed lifted back up, and he kind of felt, it get a little less tense, I guess. But he said he was out of that house right after that and didn't come back for a few days. And I mean, he said it made him thoroughly just boil cold blood, like very scared.
Okay. Show of hands, how many people, and Kim, I see you, have heard that? Because I am telling you, I hear it all the time right now. And I kind of was wondering and my sister told me once, she says, Debbie, I don't know if it's just one of these things, but she says when the fan is on. And I said to her, I said, when we have a change in the atmosphere and we're kind of chopping the air and stuff like that, sometimes we can hear that. And so I always, every night I'm going, this just started for me, you guys, like the last week and a half. And I hear this conversation going on. And I'm like, okay, hello,
Yeah, any kind of background noise, like a fan or like a radio station that's not coming in properly, or running water, will cause just enough white noise that you can actually hear them above that. And I think it makes it easier for them to even communicate with people who aren't as sensitive.
Okay, so you can use it kind of like a I guess a catalyst to get to that. You could use like some sort of white noise.
Correct. Yeah, that will help for you to be able to actually hear them. And then the higher you begin to vibrate by meditation or whatever forms of, psychic ability training that you're taking, eventually you'll be able to hear the words slower. We hear them so fast when we're not quite at that higher vibration.
And that's why we use electronics. We use the Ovilus, spirit boxes and things like that. Turn it on and let it grab the words. And Janine, you have the best stories about them making sentences and
full sentences coming out of these machines that are supposed to say one word at a time. Wow. And there is actually 2 words that come out of my co-founder's Ovilus when we're out together that are not in the dictionary. One of them is Thigh Master. I don't know what they want from us when they're saying Thigh Master.
Oh, yeah, it's not a code word that you figured out yet.
The other one, though, is Saturn. Saturn is not in the dictionary. We've looked through. And when it says Saturn, it's kind of our clue. It's time to get out of there. Because the first time I heard it, we heard something about murder, run, Saturn. And as we're coming down these stairs, I see a large plumbing wrench under a bush.
Okay.
Yeah. And here's the twist. My co-founder's car is a Saturn.
Well, also Hades was the Greek god of Saturn, and that's like, the underworld, the hell.
Right.
That's a good one.
So maybe that's why they put that connection together. Like, get into your Saturn and go. Not time to be here.
Yeah,
perfect. That's perfect that you guys know that. So we're talking about Chris Oliver, and who's a wonderful paranormal investigator in San Diego. And she's our go-to for the haunted houses and all of that. But you guys have amazing validation constantly, especially with those K2 meters and stuff. Because I saw you had a little clip from the 10th Avenue Arts Theater where you were communicating with spirit there.
Yeah, we were actually using cat balls. So little cat balls that you push a button on, when they're still, they don't light up. And as soon as the cat moves them, they'll light up to attract the cat. Well, a little girl who died at the bottom of the staircase was able to turn them off and on to communicate with us.
Oh, wow.
I'm buying some of those. They better be on Amazon.
Love them.
Yeah, I love communication because there's so many kinds. So Matty, you use your pendulum and cards and all of that. And we have so many ways that we can get the words and see everything, but the electronics are fun. So I have a little spirit box, and Chris has a big one. And so it'll just spout out clearly the words, and it always connect to something, but you got to be careful in case it's a demon.
Yeah, the night that thing was following my sister and ended up in Denver with her, it kept saying, Jennifer, Jenny, run. You're going to die. Okay, it's only supposed to say one word at a time, but it's telling her you're going to die. We decided to sage everybody and get the heck out of there. But like I said, you have to actually have belief that you're protecting yourself in order to be protected. And I think she was kind of on the fence at that time. It went home with her to Denver, and I had to fly all the way out there to get rid of it. So,
But I love how they can say names. So I was, Dearborn Cemetery all the time, clearing everything. There's a part of that cemetery that the shadow people run. They're running on that one side. And so we have certain things around there. Some are mean, some are kids, all kinds of stuff. But I didn't go one time, and some people from my meetup, and we have about 759 people in San Diego, and for Psychic Fixes on Meetup, if you're interested. And so they went out there. And so I got a message back the next day, and they said, well, the spirits were asking for you. And I said, what do you mean? And they're going, where's Debbie on all their omuluses. And I said, oh, that's so funny. But, so we know we have validation in the communication that we get with the spirits. And so they are real. All of this is real. And I think that we've only just kind of opened up a little bit of this. The veil is thinning. There's so much stuff going on. And things happen. We have, I think, Janine, did you have a near-death experience?
Yes, I did in 2014.
Oh,
yeah.
Super.
And so did I. Go ahead, Matty.
I'm saying I'm super interested in hearing about that because I've been really into near-death experiences lately. I've been looking at them, and I would love to hear about that one day from you guys.
We should do a whole show on that, actually, Debbie.
Yeah. I have so many friends. One friend that had massive blood loss, and when she came back, she could see angels, and she is right in everything. And I've known her for years, like good decade. She's right in everything. It's just spooky, but she sees the angels and talks and communicates with them. Then somebody in our group, she she saw like Archangel Michael, or when she came back from dying, there was a big sword. I think if I do it right, there's like a flame and a big sword that was wielded. And I can't remember the rest of the stuff she said, but like welcome back, you know. But she said as much as you could see, there was a huge. She said she knew it was Archangel Michael. And so we have so many people that we know that have these experiences. Now,
Mm.
I didn't clinically die. I came real close. They said I was going to die. And when I was convalescing, I was walking through my dining room, and that's when a man talked to me. Now, you guys know I worked for the government. I was a branch manager, very logical, Miss Spock. That's what I call myself. And a man talked to me. And as he talked to me, I turned my head. I'm like, oh, I heard this man. But he gave me a message about a family member.
Mm.
Everything he said came true. And it compelled me to go do something. And I go, well, am I crazy? Because when I heard that voice, I go, stroke? Do I have a stroke? Heart attack? Am I okay? And I go, I'm okay. Now, what was that about? And it stayed in my mind. And then it all came out, everything that was true. And it said that this person in the family, was terminally ill, what he had, and that he had to go do something. And I wasn't willing to give the message because I thought this is crazy. The message is crazy. I'm not going to go and tell him this crazy thing. And it
Right.
all came true. And that's when I went.
Wow.
I took
Yeah.
an early retirement to go find out who talked to me. And then from then on, I knew when I was little, I got a force field. I always know what's going to happen. All that stuff. I'm lucky. That pisses off my family when I win everything, and that's as far as it went. And after that, all of a sudden, I found a missing person right where he was. First time I tried. Homicides. I know all this stuff. It's validation. And I just go, I get more and more things. So I tell people, don't go through that to get any powers. You can get powers by just practicing. But that's what essentially it was for me. And Janine, do you feel like it gave you more powers or more gifts?
Yeah, so mine was actually very similar to yours. I didn't physically die, but I was like on that edge of passing. So I was refusing to get a blood transfusion after my last back surgery in 2014. Blood pressure was like 90/40. My heart was racing. And I kept saying, nope. If I was meant to live, then, I'm going to do it without somebody else's blood inside my body because I was terrified. And so at a certain point, I'm trying to watch a movie, The Great Gatsby, with my mom and my niece. And I just keep falling asleep, and I'm in the hospital, and I'm in ICU. And every time I'm coming to, I see 7 very, very large glowing figures standing around my bed, like looking into the sun. That's how bright they were. And I kept telling my mom, they've got to go. They're too bright. My mom's like, what are you talking about? It's just me and Alexis in here with you. Well, the lady down the hall, they started calling codes because she was dying. And they formed into one big ball and went down to her room. So when the nurse came back, I said, did the woman down the hall die? She goes, how did you know there was a woman down there? I said, did the woman down the hall die? And she said, yes, she did. And I realized I was looking at angels.
Oh my gosh.
And I was like, blood transfusion in room 2. But after that, see, I've always heard them, seen them, felt them, smelt them. Thank goodness I can't taste them. I know people can't taste ghosts. I don't want to know what a ghost tastes like. But after this experience, I was able to hold items and do psychometry to read off of those. But 2 days after I was allowed to drive, I was driving down a stretch of the 125 into Santee. And all of a sudden, a film started playing in front of my eyes of a man freaking out. He couldn't get his car to stop. The accelerator was stuck. And they ended up blowing through the light, hitting something, flipping the car, and all 4 of them died. I did find out later that actually did happen. It was an off-duty police officer and his family. And so I was actually able to have movies when I was in areas where certain traumatic things took place.
Yes. Yeah. I'm going to tell you, it was on the 8 going east in San Diego. and I had a boyfriend with me, and I was driving, and he kind of looks over to the side, and he goes, "Oh, that poor family." And I go, "What family?" So the one with the RV, they're all burnt up and they're dead. And I'm like, "What?" Well, okay. I'm
Oh, okay.
rethinking this relationship, right? And come to find out, there was an RV that caught on fire. The kids, mom and dad, were in there, and they all were burned up and killed.
Oh
And
my.
he said, so you could see that. But he said, he's from back east. And he said, all this started happening when there was a major nightclub that burned. And I think it was in Rhode Island. And all these people burnt up and were killed. And they couldn't get out of the exits. And he says he started driving that road towards it. And he'd say they would be just wandering and just burned, and their clothes were burned and everything. And that's when he noticed that. So clearly, when we're just on our way up to the mountains or whatever, he happened to see them. So we got validation on that also. But,
It's kind of
but what a
interesting.
thing.
Yeah, kind
Yeah.
of interesting how things can get triggered in somebody. Like, Chris has abilities that she doesn't necessarily feel are as strong as yours and mine or whatever. But, for months, she was dreaming about being underwater and things being underwater. And then one night she didn't have that dream. And the next day, Japan was hit with a tsunami.
Oh, okay.
Oh wow.
So you just never know how the information is going to come to you.
Yeah.
Right. But like you said, when I do past lives or any of this stuff, I I see a beginning. I would see a movie or still photography, black and white. Sometimes a little color that would come in, but it didn't move. And I see this up in this corner. I'll look up, and there will be a number. And that, if I do past life, that's when, or a person, that's when they died. That was the age they were when they died. And then I would see a little thing come across, like the banner you guys are watching, come across, and it would be words that would be upside down or backwards, because I could read and write that, and it would be going across, and I would read information there. From here, one day I was doing a seance here at the house. I had psychometry. I had a ring, and you knew it was a man's wedding ring. I don't go off of anything like that. I go off of what I get. And right in here came typed DAVID exclamation point in red. And that was that guy that died, his ring. His name was David.
Wow.
And so the one thing that floored me the most was doing the seance and stretching for time, because we would, record them, which I want to do again. That's
Yes.
fantastic. And I took this guy's hand, and all of a sudden, first time ever, a portal opened in front of me, and the color was brighter than the most vibrant colors. And I
Yeah.
started talking to him.
You're
It was
saying
cool.
open in front of you, like you physically saw this, or like
Yes,
oh,
there it was in front of me. There was the kid, and he introduced me to the family. And you know what? I went with it without it hitting until later. And I said to the guy, I go, hey, yeah, this is let me tell you about your father and your mother, your brother and your sister. And let me tell you what the commerce was there. And then it flashed on how he died. So I said, I'm going to tell you that I see burnt flesh on a body, on a little boy. So you died somehow in the fire. And I told him, you're in Vietnam, because when I opened up, I saw Vietnam. That came right in. And now the funny part is, I had the guy's hand, and I go, I got to stretch for time. And I go, you know what? I'm talking to you right now in a past life. Would you like a message from yourself? And he goes, like, of course, yes. And I look back to the little boy, and telepathically I'm going like, um, okay, do you have a message for yourself? And in my time, and he goes, dog. You know this one, Janine. It's crazy.
Yes.
And I
I
thought I was crazy. And I turn and I go, dog. And I look back to the little boy, and he goes, dog. And I go, dog. And he goes, dog, 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 dog. And I go, dog, 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 dog. I'm being filmed. And I go, I'm never going to do this again. This isn't real. It's not validated. I'm so embarrassed. That's what I'm thinking. And I looked to the little boy. I said, give me something. And Lassie came, a collie. And I go, dog. I said, listen, I'm really sorry. That's all I can get for you. And then I didn't say it like, I'm never freaking going to do this again. And so then the guy gave validation to everybody. And then he came back and he told everybody, he said, before I came here, I had to make a big decision in my life. And I told my guides that if somebody would get in my face and say a certain word tonight, I would know how to make that decision. So he gave them a code word. And then he told everybody, and that code word was dog.
That's
And I went over. I was staring at the floor. I was like, oh my God. It's like, Houdini and his wife, they had, whoever dies, we have a code word. I said I should have been there. I should have been there. And so I gave him that, and he made his decision. I don't know what what it was. He didn't, it was private to him, but that was like freaking crazy. And so, yeah, and the portal went, and now we chase portals all the time and close them, don't we, Janine?
Yes, we sure do.
Can I say hi to Erica? Erica, how are you? Erica's going to be on our show maybe next Sunday. So we're talking about that right now. So that's going to be fun. And I so want Matty to come back.
Yes, you have to come back.
I'm happy to, yes.
Can I say again, please go to youtube.com/@Matty Tarot. Just go into YouTube, Matty Tarot. You will see his beautiful face there.
Oh.
And please subscribe. We want to get him subscribers. And that way, we want to uplift all the metaphysical businesses, get them going. They do such light work and helping people. And Matty's a true talent. And please, if you want a reading or anything, you can get it all right there at his YouTube channel. Matty, what else do you have to say tonight?
I do just want to say my YouTube, I haven't posted in a while, but I will be doing a regular posting of general readings for all the signs, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, whatever your sign is, all 12 of them, and regularly posting those twice a month here again soon. So right now, if you go on there, there's, you can obviously watch back, but, take what resonates, leave the rest, and I'll be updating very soon.
I did like that a lot. I did go in and stalk your channel. And I love that, because when it comes to astrology, I used to get an email every day, and I don't know if the other side wanted to make sure that it was validated for me, but it was crazy, spooky, right on point. And so whenever, you get an opportunity to go and to look at those messages, really, that is really great, to do, because it gives you insight for everything. I'm seeing everybody going, wow, hi, yay. Kim says, I want to wrap it up, but Kim does say, I saw a spirit come through my TV last night, and it completely shut the TV off. I was like, okay, now it is time for me to go to bed. Don't we get those little signs to, it's time to go? It's time to stop. Yeah. I get that a lot. And something doesn't work, my phone at night. I'm like, what's the matter with you? I need a new phone before I throw it. And I go, oh yeah, you're telling me I need to cut that out. Yeah, I understand. And that's part of it. We go through and we learn the signs and we start communicating that way when they tell us that. So Janine, I'll let you have your final.
So I do want to thank you all for joining us for SD Spooky Adventures, Ghostly Tales with Janine and Debbie. Please do, as she said, follow Matty Tarot on YouTube, as well as Psychic Fixes and SD Spooky Adventures. We're all on there, and we all have new videos coming your way soon. If you have not already liked our fan pages, go ahead and do that as well. Do you have a Facebook page, Matty?
No, I do not. Just
Okay.
the YouTube.
No worries. Go find him on YouTube. We got to get him up above his 1,000 viewers. So thank you again, everyone. We will see you next Sunday, and hopefully we will have Erica on as our next guest.
Yay! Maddie, thank you so much.
Bye.
Take care, everybody. Bye-bye.